racing fan, Lee Craft in studio, and it is episode 115 of Between the Slicks. As you come in, hit that like button, hit the share button for me as well. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel, Monday Morning Racer, no matter what platform you're watching from, whether it's the Monday Morning Racer Facebook page, the Competition Plus Facebook page, or on Twitter. Make sure, swing by and subscribe to the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel. We're going to have Southeast Gassers Association content rolling out from the championship finals at Shadyside before long. So A gas, B gas, C gas, super stock. You'll also be updated on the championship implications if the class had that, rolling into Shadyside. What a great season the Southeast Gassers Association had. Again, no repeat champion winners in Southeast Gassers Association competition. You're going to see the action right here on the Monday Morning Racer platform. And soon we'll be hearing from those champions and the race winners there in Shadyside, North Carolina, not North Carolina, Shadyside Dragway, Shelby, North Carolina, before long as well. But the show, before we get to the Sega Championship drag racers and those who won and those who hoisted the championship trophy, next week, we've already got it lined up. We're going to have Murph McKinney on of McKinney Corp. We're going to be chatting with him, the chassis builder. They have expanded. They've grown the platform of McKinney Corp, and it's going to be an interesting conversation with him. No telling where it might go, and no telling what questions you might have for Murph McKinney. But he is scheduled to be on the show starting out with the beginning of the show, just an intro, go right into the guests next week. Also have been in conversation with Madison Payne. Well, she's busy racing even like right now. There was qualifying rounds Thursday for the Top Alcohol Dragster folks, and Madison obviously participates in that. She's the one who beat Tony Stewart there at Las Vegas. Well, we're going to be having her on eventually. Want to keep talking with her? We'll have her on eventually and talk to her about that first national event win, doing it over Tony Stewart. And what's mom and dad been up to with her in the car, and how did that midterm come out as well? Let's go to the comment section really quickly. Michael chiming in, meet the Chi-Town Hustler. You can't touch this. Hey, Chi-Town Hustler is pretty cool. Mike Minnick and that gang. Drag Racing Central MMR going to be interesting to hear from Bobby after his NHRA experience in Vegas. Well, remember, it's in fact all an NHRA experience to some degree, except for Marsh Meet, because, well, what? It's NHRA Heritage Series. Granted, yes, NHRA national event, that nuance is going to be interesting, but he's been there before, maybe not necessarily with the nostalgia car, but Bobby's been around for a while, and he is one heck of a drag racer and knows more than just willing a bad ride of a funny car. Hopefully we'll get to that as well. Dave Huber, Standard Oil of Kentucky, watching. Good to have you watching along, Dave. Sammy, how's it going, man? Good to have you watching along. I hope you enjoy the Fairplex and that you've got a lot of folks to sing to, and sing it well, man. Sing it well. Darren Williams Jr., American Hot Rod Entertainment. He has had Bobby on many times, and you can catch those on his YouTube channel, American Hot Rod Entertainment. And let's be clear, I've been saying Bobby, they've been saying Bobby. Tonight's guest is Bobby Cottrell. We're going to figure out also like what is the proper way to say his last name. I only hear 3 different ways out there. We'll get it right. We'll get it right tonight. But the man who is the 2022 Heritage Series champion and the winner of the inaugural Legends of Nitro Funny Car group out there at Las Vegas for the Nevada Nationals. He picked up the win there. We're going to have him on tonight. Looking forward to having a great drag racing conversation with him. And I also am excited to have him on because this group of funny car racers, and not just funny car racers, but the Heritage Series racers, I don't think they get enough exposure. One of the guys doing a great job of trying to give them exposure is American Hot Rod Entertainment, Darren Williams Jr. Competition Plus does put their information on the website, but I think these guys need a streaming package. I think they need a bigger platform for the national event occasionally. It would be neat to see possibly some more races for the Heritage Series than what they're getting. And I think they also would be recognized when they go elsewhere. I know if we ever had Bobby and many of the others show up at Funny Car Chaos, they would be recognized, and we would say, hey, man, it's great to have these top-notch funny car racers at the Funny Car Chaos Classic and at other Funny Car Chaos events. So I think they certainly deserve even more of a platform. And I'm glad to have Bobby come on because we haven't really had any of those guys. We had Joey Haas on many, many moons ago, and he's a Heritage Series guy. We talked more about his initial start there in Top Fuel and what was coming up for him and licensing and going into Denver and things of that nature. But he's a Heritage Series guy. We've had him on, and it was good to have him on, but definitely want to talk to these individuals participating in the Heritage Series and where it's growing. And it seems like there very well may be a resurgence happening, and that is good to hear all around for drag racing. Now, as I block some spam people, Sam Folger, Nostalgia Funny Cars are the best. They are very cool, man. Gary Wheeler says, Bobby the People's Champion. Yes, I like that. I like that. Caleb, I do need a beer sponsor. I need some help grooming this thing. I do. I got plans though. That's why I'm letting it grow. I'm letting it grow. And look, I am willing. You remember, folks, Ron Capps did that thing at Sonoma where I think he put a mustache on, different cap, and he faked out a lot of drivers like, oh, your card won't scan. I am willing to do that if someone will pay for it. I will take the glasses off. I will shave. You got to pay, and let's donate it to some, I don't know, Cancer for Men or something. I don't know what. Let's do something, and like I'll be scanning cards, and the drivers won't have a clue who I am because I don't have shades and I don't have a beard. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do that. Somebody ante up, okay? Gary Wheeler says both NFC and NTF really took off this year. Yes, I'd agree. I think they had a stellar year. I think they had a good year. I think there is more for them out there, and they're going to get it for sure. We're going to have Bobby come up around 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. That should be, I think, 5:30 Pacific time. We're going to have him on. That's usually when the guests come on here on Between the Slicks. We're going to take a quick break, and right after the break, we're going to get into the burn down segment. That's that opinionated segment. We're going to talk about some funky angles and dive into the comment section about what you are thinking about in the world of drag racing right now. This quick break.
The drag racing life and the RV life seem to go hand in hand like nitromethane and superchargers. And when you are traveling through the Lone Star State and you're needing work done on your RV, well, DFW RV Center is your star to contact.
This past weekend, one of the great events in drag racing, and we'll talk a little bit more about it when we get to drag news, was completed. And that is the World Cup Finals, import versus domestic. And that happens and occurs at Maryland International Raceway, Dragway, and MIR. Well, it is a spectacular event. It's an event that it's on my list, but yet there's always something overlapping it. One year I've just got to go and experience this event where you see Hemis compete against rotary powered cars. And it's such a fascinating combination of cars coming together and duking it out on the drag strip. And I think in a lot of ways what drag racing really should be about and was about. And at places such as the World Cup Finals, it still stands for. And it is an event where it is simply wild. There are so many things happening at this event, and there are spectacular runs because oftentimes, granted, this year not quite so much, it's oftentimes in a time of the year around Maryland, the air quality and the temperature is just right for there to be records. Not really the case this year. It was a little warmer. Didn't see the records. Didn't see the spectacular runs that are rememberable in the sense of setting records. Granted, there were stellar runs, but there's also people are hanging it out, and there's big wrecks. There's flips. There's body parts coming off. I mean, it is a spectacular show all the way around, and you're getting everything in that drag race, the World Cup Finals, import versus domestic. Well, there was an incident, and you can see it on Flow Drag Racing on the Facebook page. This video has become viral in the truest sense. I've shared it to Monday Morning Racer on the Facebook page, and you've got two Mustangs, Bill Coulson and David Farlow. They launch off at almost identical times, and one of them gets loose in the right lane. The car turns, hits the other car, so it's a two-car drag wreck, which is rare, and I'm glad that is rare in drag race. I'm glad it doesn't happen as often as it could, but both cars are collected. Both drivers hit the wall, and what is most heartening, if you will, is the car that turned in the first place, after striking another car and going on and traveling down the rest of the drag strip, hits an opening just right where it's at a bad angle. Now, Maryland International Raceway is a world-class facility. They have one of the longest shutdowns of any drag strip. I mean, they're right up there with like Empire Dragway and those places that have super long shutdowns. It is a world-class facility, and that's why they can host such an event as the World Cup Finals, and that's why it has been a destination spot. So this is a case where it seems drag racing and motorsports in general tends to prove what you don't think is going to happen will eventually happen. And I'm a firm believer that any funky angle of walls at a track, and I don't mean this just for drag racing, but at any track, they do not need to be there. You do not need anything angled in a perpendicular type way. Things need to be parallel as much as possible in matching the direction of the race. This is a situation where that opening, it also allowed for emergency crews to access the cars. And I get that. And they were on top of things. The MIR crew responded quickly, and drivers were okay and got out of their cars. Fires were put out quickly. They did a stellar job, the safety crews did. But not just MIR, but any track, every track. And I've been to a lot of tracks that I've never been at for the first time this year. Look at your walls. And how can you eliminate weird angles? I think that should be a goal of every track, and every track owner and every promotion should be walking the walls. Hey, how can we soften the blow of this wall or get it corrected completely? We have seen over the history of motorsports, especially drag racing, people here hitting these weird angles. It's never good. I'm glad the drivers are all right. So glad that MIR has got the safety team that they do have. They responded quickly. Nonetheless, I think every track, including MIR, how can we make such a gap, even for safety, as it's there, even better for the next racing season, and that there's not an angle of a wall that there was, and the competitors are that much safer. It was a bad deal all around. Glad that everybody got out all right. It was tough. Drag Racing Central says, to be honest, that whole wreck could be blamed on them being X275 teams running quarter mile, in which they never run outside this one race. I completely disagree, Drag Racing Central, and this is why. Go count the blocks. that wreck, that car turning sideways, happened right before the 8th mile. It was half track for the quarter mile, but yes, they typically race 8th mile. Nonetheless, that wreck would have happened anyway. Bad racing deal, and it happens. Both of them are capable drivers. Whatever happened, it happened. I do think, looking past it, we've got to say, hey, we need to fix this. And I don't think that's just MIR. I know that this is an example from MIR. I don't want to be bashing on them. They have a world-class facility, and they have a world-class event. But every track needs to be looking and go like, you know what? I know no one has hit that yet, but somebody probably is going to eventually. Motorsports tends to prove that what you don't think can happen, it certainly can, and it does. Gary Wheeler Jr. says, or have it gated closed so there's no opening. Yeah, I mean, that's an option. Or, that whole entire wall, move it back further and slide it back up, and you still have an opening, but it's not an opening with a weird angle. There's options, and I think it needs to be looked at. Again, not just for MIR, but for every track. Robert Smallwood, that's what happened to Blaine Johnson. Yes, that's one example. That's a big example of someone hitting a wall at a wrong angle. And there's, I think of Gary Ormsby. It's a wonder that he didn't die when he smacked that wall. I believe it was Seattle in the late 80s. And I think of Connie Coletta. Connie Coletta has struck a wall. I believe it was Indy at a weird angle. I'm surprised there hasn't been more issues from it of people being seriously injured. But when people are hitting walls that go against the grain of the energy, if you will, of the racing action, bad things can happen. Brainerd, yes, Brainerd. Thank you, Darren Williams Jr. That was Brainerd with Gary Ormsby. So, and that's not just drag racing. I know this is a drag racing show, but that goes for dirt track racing. It goes for asphalt racing in a circle tracks. It goes for left and right in sports car or whatever. How can you soften the blow? One way in which to soften the blow is that the wall allows the energy to dissipate in the direction in which it was going in the first place. Just like a drag strip does. But when you have a wall at a different angle, that can definitely hurt things. Well, we are going to move on. Another quick break here, and we will dive into drag news and bring you up to speed of what's happening in the world of drag racing.
Power-Built Tools exemplifies innovation in the tool industry. From hand tools, power tools, and even tool storage. Check out powerbuilt.com for Power-Built Tools. And remember, use promo code MMR15 for 15% off at purchase.
Well, as many of you know, it is the last race of the year this very weekend at the Auto Club drag strip there at the Fairplex for the NHRA Camping World Series, the Auto Club Finals. Championships on the line. Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock Motorcycle. Erica Enders, with her dominating year, has already sewed up that championship, rolling into the property. It was already decided. In the comments section, who do you think is going to win Top Fuel? Who do you think is going to win Funny Car? And who do you think is going to win Pro Stock Motorcycle, the championships? I've said it on Competition Plus Power Hour. I'm going to stick to my picks there. Top Fuel, I believe Justin Ashley will be the 2022 champion. Funny Car, I believe that will be Robert Height, the 2022 champion. And Pro Stock Motorcycle, I believe it's going to be Matt Smith. Matt Smith, definitely, it would be a situation if he loses that he let victory slip out of his grasp. He has a decisive lead. He just needs to wrap it up at Pomona. It's not going to take much to get it done, I don't think. We definitely have more of a dogfight in funny car between Matt Hagan, Robert Hight, and Ron Capps. And then it does seem to be a two-way battle between Brittany Force and Justin Ashley. Granted, mathematically, understand that even Steve Torrence has a chance. And I firmly believe with the Top Fuel championship chase, we're going to have to keep a close eye on qualifying. And I think things are going to be shifting even in the qualifying rounds. I know we all expect with what is upcoming, and I have heard is going to be great conditions at this championship finals, that Brittany and Grubnick, they're going to be throwing down. Well, we know that Justin Ashley with Mike Green and Tommy DeLago, they can keep pace. But you also have Rob Flynn and Mike Salinas. They know how to put the numbers up. And then Steve Torrence, cannot count him out as well. It is going to be a great battle there in Top Fuel, as well as Funny Car. But keep an eye even on qualifying. Things may shift, and who can keep pace? Can Brittany go out and be low ET each and every time? And if that is the case, and I wouldn't be shocked by that, can someone like Justin Ashley or a Mike Salinas or a Steve Torrence be that number two, or can they be low ET and number one qualifier each and every session? It's going to definitely be something to keep your eye out on. Drag Racing Central, I'm hoping Justin Ashley, but I think Brittany gets it realistically. Brittany's a tough competitor. They come off the win, Justin going out round one. Brittany has been driving better. Granted, head-to-head against Justin, Justin has had the edge. So if we get in a head-to-head situation, I certainly believe it's going to go Justin's way and not Brittany's way. But it's coming down to the final. Who can be clutch? Who is going to be on their game? Who is going to get it done? I love the matchup that we've got between Justin and Brittany. And remember, not forgetting all the others that are in there as well. Sam says Ashley, Hagan, Smith. All right, I like that. Looking for Brittany getting the win in Top Fuel. Matt Hagan coming from behind a bit and getting one in Funny Car, getting another one in Funny Car. Don Moore says Justin Ashley, Robert Hight, and Matt Smith. Also says that Robert is his favorite to win Funny Car, but Z. Clue me in, Don. What are you saying there? What are you saying there? So we got great championship battles still. But Capps is a threat. Here we go, Don Morris. Yes, Capps certainly is a threat. It's hard to pick Funny Car. They're all past champions. They have definitely been the top three cars throughout the year. And I think this is exactly what we need in Funny Car. I think we need it coming down to Robert Hight, Ron Capps, and Matt Hagan. And in particular, I say this often, but I think we need it coming down to Ron Capps and Robert Hight, number 2 and 3 on the wins list, and all their championships and all they've done in Funny Car in particular and in the sport of drag racing and who they represent. And I love seeing those two go at it. I believe we're going to have Matt Hagan around for a long time, and he's going to pick up more championships. But I like right now when we've got Ron Capps and Robert Hight head-to-head. I like that matchup, and I think that's good for drag racing. I think that's good storylines. I think that is good in the media outlets, like right here and beyond. I think that is good. Darren Williams Jr. says, stay tuned for the return of NHRA today, Sunday morning live from Pomona. Stop by and drop your championship picks during the show. So I expect Darren Williams Jr. on American Hot Rod Entertainment is going to be going live from Pomona. He should be. He's a SoCal boy. He'll be out there. By the way, Darren, I need you to send me pictures of the T-shirts and the hats and see if I want one or not, okay? But tune in to American Hot Rod Entertainment. Don't forget about that. Don't forget about that. All right, let's continue on in drag racing news. There is a lot of coolness happening at Pomona with it being the final race, and there's some throwback schemes, there's tribute schemes. I really like what we have going on. In Top Alcohol Dragster, Travis Shoemake is going to be paying homage to his late father, Trip Shoemake, and Trip Shoemake won the 1982 finals. He was supposed to just be a blocker for Billy Meyer, but he went on to go win the race in that Johnny Loper funny car. And Travis has got a top alcohol dragster wrap that mimics what his dad won in at the finals. That is such a good-looking ride. I love seeing this. It can't be Pomona without Jim Dunn Racing having Moon Eyes on the car, and they've got a good-looking ride. I like this. It's not just black and white. I love the black and white. I love the yellow and black and white. But this time, they've gone white with some black and some red in the lettering. It looks like a little vase behind the equipped there in the moon. I like the look of this hot rod. Moon Eyes, moon equipped back on Jim Campbell's ride, Jim Dunn's car for the finals there in Pomona. And by the way, Pomona is like the only place you can pick up Moon Eyes apparel at the track. I'm sure you can go online, yes, but if you want to get it at the track, they got a lot of cool stuff on that trailer. You need to get to Pomona. One that is heartwarming to see is Krista Baldwin. Krista Baldwin, her Top Fuel ride, she is paying tribute to her late dad, Bobby Baldwin, running a scheme similar to what he ran in the late 90s and early 2000s. She also is bringing on some new sponsors. They're up there at the front near where the fuel is on her ride, and it is good that she's having some more partners come on board. I think this is going to bring a lot of attention to her, a lot of good feelings, and it's her home race. She grew up in Southern California. She grew up at Pomona, and it is cool to see her racing this scheme, honoring her dad who was in Top Fuel. She's now in Top Fuel, doing it at the home track. I hope she has a successful finals. It is very cool to see her doing this in a great-looking scheme. All right, Maurice DuPont hasn't been in a car for like over 30 years, since the early 90s, and sponsored by MC Hammer. He's supposed to be in the car this weekend in the Scott Palmer ride. He licensed at Tucson and got it done from what I understand. It's the Money Team, so some help from Floyd Money Mayweather. He is going to be racing. The only thing about that is I don't see him on the entry list by name, but it may very well be a situation where you've got Scott Palmer in the entry list, and they're going to put him, Maurice, in the seat. We'll see how he does. Ron Tobler will go back into retirement after the finals of this race upcoming. We'll see how long that lasts. Either way, it's been a good day. Good to have Ron back out there. And we've had the Silver Stallions tuning the Austin Prock Top Fuel dragster. Definitely opens up the questions of who will be tuning for Austin Prock in 2023. Jasmine Salinas, she picks up the Division III North Central Regional Championship. Route 66. Ladies and gentlemen, the tickets are on sale. You can get them now. Yes, the national event everybody has been clamoring for it to come back. It's back in 2023, and you need to go ahead and get your tickets. Also announced a couple weeks ago, in fact, the PDRA 2023 schedule. They return to, well, just about each and every track they usually go to. Back on the list is Darlington Dragway, and new is US 131 Motorsports Park. You will notice that Maple Grove is not on there. They do not pay a visit to Maple Grove in 2023. But they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got several events. Great schedule again for the PDRA, getting all over. Midwest Drag Racing Series has dropped their schedule for 2023 as well, running up and down the Midwest for the Midwest Drag Racing Series, putting on a great drag racing show. So there is some of the drag racing news from around the country as we all look forward to the Auto Club finals there at Pomona and wrap up the championship chases in 2022. There's more storylines beyond Nitro and beyond Pro Stock Motorcycle and even into the sportsman ranks. Be sure, do some digging and check those out as well. At this time, we are going to look at the comment sections, then take a break, go into the comment sections here, and I got to block a user. All that spam. not the good kind that comes out of the can. You can put in the frying pan and put some eggs on it. And that's the good spam. Well, no, that was the bad spam. So very quickly, comment section. Let's see. Oh, okay. Alan Boykin. I'm a bracket racer. Don't keep up with NHRA. Who has won Pro Stock Championship? Well, that would be Erica Enders. She won it at Las Vegas. Wrapped it up there. She doesn't even have to show up for the last race of the year. Granted, I believe she will win out. Is Smoke running a fuel this weekend? No, he's not on the NHRA list from what I understand. Not at all. Do you expect him to be in the car next year at some point? Peter, good to have you along. And we're about to bring Bobby on in just a few moments. Right, matter of fact, we'll bring him on now. Take a break, and we're going to bring Bobby on and chat with him about, well, drag racing. Because that's what we do here at Between the Slicks. Right after this break.
If you own a beautiful modern muscle car like this 1320 Challenger, I'm sure you don't want it stolen. Because the Challenger and many other modern vehicles have an easily accessible neutral release strap. That was your coin holder in your center console, and beneath that there's this red cord that someone can pop, put it into neutral, and potentially easily steal your car. But at Destroyer1320.com, they have the TDS, Theft Deterrent System, which is a cover over that strap using factory mounting points so that you don't get popped by a thief. So make sure to go to Destroyer1320.com using promo code MMR for 15% off and get your Theft Deterrent System TDS and steal the thieves' hope.
All right, Bobby, welcome to Between the Slicks. Thank you for the time, man. And before we go on down the road in the show, your last name, let's clear it up, man. How do you pronounce it? I've only heard it like 3 different ways. So how?
Well, just pick one, man. The right way. I've been called it all, but the right way to say it is Cottrell.
All right, there we go. Cottrell. We can work with that. Yeah, I hear most often it's Cottrell. I hear Cottrell most often, even more than Cottrell. So very interesting. Well, we got that cleared up. We can move on now. So, man, look, congratulations. You had a great year. And what a cool event, and what seems to be firing up for this group, the legends of Nitro Funny Cars and everything that's happening there. And like you're wearing Redline Oil T-shirt right there, and they're headline sponsor with that. What is going on with that? And congratulations on the win at Las Vegas. And do y'all hope that becomes a much bigger entity in its own right?
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It was a hard fought race, obviously, a lot of tough competitors and stuff. But as a driver, I hope it does take off. But it could be a catch-22. I mean, as far as the nostalgia ranks and stuff like that, I don't think necessarily we need 23 events like the big show, just because of funding and time, and we all got our own businesses and stuff to try to run. But we're excited, man. I mean, it's I thought it was really, really cool. The first pass, I've never been I've never had an audience like that coming up for the burnout, and there's 15,000, 20,000 people's in the stand. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was a huge deal. I know it was a huge deal for Bucky and the rest of the team. So to come out on top, man, it was really, really cool. Really cool.
So glad that y'all were able to have that platform and be on that stage. And it is different. You have 15, 20,000 people in the stands and can hear their reactions. And I'm sure people were also walking by the pits and thinking to themselves, all right, I know what Ron drives. I know what Matt drives. I know what Robert drives. What about these cars? What is going on with these funny cars? So give us the breakdown. What makes your funny car and the others like it different from the big show and different from the alcohol burners that you're going to see at a national event? What makes them what they are?
Well, I think the biggest thing is they could relate to, a normal car. Ours is a 69 Camaro. It's the updated body, the more aerodynamic body. But we had so many people come up to us and thank us for being there. And the fan, just the stuff I got from them, the feedback and stuff was just, was just great, man. I mean, it was just a good event. I mean, the good thing is we didn't have any oil downs or no downtime from our class in itself. But I think it kind of separates us because you could see, you know, obviously the Big Show. I like Big Show. Obviously, I run 330 miles an hour and stuff like that, which is awesome. But it kind of, you know, it's kind of a cookie cutter car with different decals on it. You know what I'm saying? So I think our cars stand by themselves alone just because of sound. We could run 100% nitro if we wanted to. So you could actually tell the difference the way they sound. Our cars don't have any of the timers or, you know, all the, all the new technology on them. So we run them a whole different way. And the feedback that I got from is just people enjoyed it, man. It was exciting. It was, we'd go out there and rattle the tires just like the Big Show car. We'd blow the tires off just like the Big Show cars. But, good thing for us, it's at the fraction of the cost. But, I got nothing but positivity, which I'm excited about. I'm excited for the future. Hopefully it works out. And, we're just excited, man.
Good to hear all that positivity around the group being at Las Vegas and people enjoying it. I'm curious, did anybody happen to go well past 1,000 foot and forget that they were running that instead of the quarter mile?
Oh, I'm sure they did. I think I legged it a little longer until the Leahy device went off, but we try to obviously come within the rules and stuff like that. We got the Leahy devices on the cars, which automatically shut the fuel, shut off, and throw the parachutes and stuff. So we can only do so much as drivers. Obviously, we want to keep our foot in it as long as we can, but we gotta succumb to the rules and stuff. But believe me, as a driver, I didn't want to let off.
And Heidi Austin says, "We love you, Sex Pot. The dogs love you too."
I love you too.
Well, Bobby, not only a good weekend at Las Vegas for the Nevada Nationals, but you had overall a stellar year. You've got the championship in the Heritage Series for 2022 and the Nostalgia Funny Car Ranks. Give us a recap on what the year was like, the highlights, the wins, the low points, all of it to claim yet. How many championships is it by now?
I got 5 championships with Bucky.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. Just 5. That's it. Yeah.
It's been hard, man. A lot of people don't see. I mean, my crew is just relentless, man. They're just like a, well-oiled machine. I mean, a lot of people don't, they'll go up in the stands and watch us race, but they won't come back in the pits and see us, how much we do work. You know what I'm saying? So, hats off to my crew. I mean, it's just, believe me, there's been times where we, late at night where we're just dog tired, man. I mean, we're just dog tired. We're, a lot of guys, will only go 1 or 2 rounds, but go 3 or 4 or 5 rounds. It's just, it's a lot of work, man. Just between driving the car, working on the car, and just everything in between. You know what I'm saying? Just the prep and stuff like that. A lot of people don't see that stuff. Not to mention the work it takes in the shop. Bucky and the guys that are in the shop full time, they just don't give up, man. I mean, they're just that's where I think most of it comes from, is the shop time. That's where all the research and development and all the hard stuff happens. Like I said before, I just get to ride the thing. So, like I said before, hats off to the guys, but it's just a whole, a global deal on, everything has to come together at the right time to win an event. So, I know guys that have been racing for 30, 40, 50 years that have never won one event. So, to be able to do what we have done in a short period of time has been it's been a dream come true for me personally. And I think it's been good for our team, obviously, but, I just hope it lasts, for when my kids come into racing and their kids and their kids, that's the whole idea, is to keep it going. But, I couldn't be happier, man. We just been, my guys have been flawless. I can't say enough about them, but, hats off to everybody else too. I mean, believe me, they've kept us honest. There hasn't been one easy round for us. I mean, at all. And, that's what makes us try harder, not only in the tune-up, but as far as just driving the car. It's just, lining up against Corey Mack or, or guys like Jeff Moniz and Rupert's old car and all those guys. I mean, it's just, I remember racing back in the days. I've raced since I was 16 years old. Like, oh, well, this guy is like, I could kind of take it easy, but I'm telling you, man, there hasn't been one round where I'm like, I'm relaxed. It's just a battle. We're there for a fist fight no matter what. And I can't wait till next year.
You mentioned there Corey Mack. I think you've got Gerardo out there. I mean, they have won rounds with a big show car, and they can do it in the nostalgia ranks as well. And I believe it's Morris in the Problem Child car, and they come from the water, and they've been stepping up. It's a highly competitive group. It is not like, as you said, it is tough each and every round, and you've got a cast of characters out there in those beautiful, funny cars that can step up and win at any time. But I'm sure for you as the competitor, that makes it even better. I know you got to work that much harder, but it makes that win feel that much better because you did it because there was so much competition.
Absolutely. And that's what I've talked about Eddie Knox and Billy Morris and his dad and stuff. Eddie's had huge success in boats and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's a fuel motor. You know what I'm saying? You need to make the horsepower. I think Eddie went through a learning curve on going from water to asphalt, obviously. But I knew it wasn't going to take him long. It hasn't taken him long. And I think next year is probably going to be the hardest year to come. I mean, it's, every year that every year that I've started racing fuel, I've never driven a funny car before this car. So it was a learning curve for me when I started, but every year it's been harder. It hasn't got easier. And I don't think it's going to get any easier, obviously. But like I said, I love competition. I love that uneasy feeling. So I'm just looking forward to the March meet, man. I can't come soon enough.
Well, let's talk about the March meet. I have not had the privilege yet and the honor to make it to a March meet. It seems to fall, well, obviously it falls in March, but there's so much else going. Like earlier this year, I was at preseason testing, then Pomona, then back to Arizona. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I got to get home. I live on the East Coast. I live in South Carolina. So I have not made March meet yet. So tell me and tell everyone else watching, why March meet? Why should the drag racing fan, why should the drag racer get to that event?
Well, I don't think it's more like, obviously the March meet is the March meet, but just the place that it's at. You could go through the Grove and see all the people on their little signs, and people that I've looked up to since I was a little kid. But you could just feel it when you come through the gates, just the history of the race. And I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but just going up for the burnout, your first burnout at the March meet, you just feel the whole deal. I mean, it's exciting. It's you see the fans and which I rarely look at the crowd when I'm going up for the burnout, but as of lately, I've been trying to enjoy more of the run and stuff. But it's just the whole atmosphere, man. It's just there's nothing like the March meet. You could win other races and stuff like that, but if you talk to people that have been in the sport for a long time, the March meet is where it's at. That's kind of like you take off your gloves and just you duke it out. I mean, that's it. There's not a lot of people on the winning list for the March meet, so to do what we've done in the past March meets has been like, I still pinch myself, like, because I don't believe that what we've done. So you guys, I remember talking to Adam Sorokin and other guys, when I was 16, 17 years old, and they've got a few wins and stuff. So to be in that list is just like, it's extraordinary. I mean, I can't explain it any other way, but like I said before, we're looking forward to the March meet that's come. I try not to look at the past. I try to look at, forward. So we can't wait. We're going to come out swinging and do what we do, I guess.
Do what you do, and that is, with you and the gang, win, and definitely expect that. Even before I knew your name and the team's name, I was like, that bad green funny car. They win all the time. Y'all definitely got a image and a mystique, even with that going on with that beautiful paint job on that 69 Camaro. Before we dive in particular about you, background, drag racing, what you do as a profession, things of that nature, the Heritage Series goes to some interesting venues. And some of them I have not been to myself. Again, more on the list that I need to get to. But I want to break down, for example, Beach Bend Raceway, and then up there at Firebird. What makes these places fit the Heritage Series so well, and what makes them unique on the drag racing calendar, and places that the people who love drag racing need to attend and make that pilgrimage to? So Beach Bend and Firebird, talk to me about those facilities.
Well, I think they're two, obviously separate tracks, but I think they have one common thing. One common thing is they're. Are you there?
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. There we go.
Oh, sorry about that, a phone call. But anyways, I think they have one common thing is they're old school, man. They love to put on a show. Boise and Beach Bend. Beach Bend was the first time I've ever been there this year. Bucky gave me the choice to go to either Beach Bend or Tulsa, but I'm glad I went. I'm glad I got to experience it. The fans are absolutely awesome. The Beach Bend crew, they're just very, very welcoming. It's really old school. I remember, I was really, really young, but my dad used to race in Orange County and Riverside and stuff. And it just reminded me from, back in the days, you know what I'm saying? And Boise, the new family, they're just awesome. They actually treat you like family. I can't say, I don't have any bad words to say about them. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? And everybody I've ever talked to about the new family, they run it old school. They run the whole deal with passion. They love the sport. And, if anything happens, they take it personally, you know what I'm saying? So, I think it's cause I've been to big show races. I've crewed on cars and driven cars, the big show and stuff, but it's nothing like, someone treating like family. And I think that's what drag racing needs to get back to is, caring, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's, we put our lives on the lines, obviously, every time we strap in and stuff like that. But to be able to race in front of, especially Boise and even Beach Bend, the crowd is huge. I mean, huge. So, I think the most exciting time, probably, I remember the first time I went to Boise and I came around the corner to get in the staging lanes, and I didn't know the grandstands were, right in front of the staging lanes. And Bucky's like, "Are you ready for this?" And I'm like, "For what?" He goes, "You'll see." And we came around the corner, and there was there were so many fans in the stands on a Friday night. It was ridiculous. And it's kind of cool because all the kids are lined up on the fence against the grandstand, just saying hi and, wanting to talk to you and stuff. And I think that's what drag racing needs to get back to is more being personal with people and being able to relate with them and talk to them and interact with them. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's been a joy. I mean, just the autograph sessions and stuff like that. I usually have, 50 kids in my line, which is awesome for me. You know what I'm saying? So I look forward to going to those tracks every year, and I can't wait till next year.
All right, there are some rumblings out there that Tulsa, as you mentioned, well, they might not be an NHRA track much longer. They're thinking about going with some other sanctioning body, not yet named. Well, where would you like to see the Heritage Series go? What track would be a good fit? Where's a venue that the Heritage Series would fit in well?
I mean, honestly, as far as personally, I can't talk for everybody, but I would like to see it at like Pomona or something like that. Obviously, it's my home track, but it's a beautiful facility. I understand there's certain deals that they got to go through, but I love Spokane. I don't know if you've ever been to Spokane Raceway. That is an absolutely awesome track. There's a long shutdown. I hear the Indians own it now, but they're supposed to get it up and running pretty soon here. But I actually like all the tracks that we go to. I love Bakersfield. Bakersfield is, obviously my home track now, but I just kind of show up where I'm supposed to and get on what flat I'm supposed to and do what I'm supposed to in the cars. So it really doesn't matter on what track we're at as long as we're racing. But there are a couple that I would like to see us at. I would love to go to Indy, obviously, but for us nostalgia guys, that's a pretty far toe, and the finances and stuff, it'd be kind of tight. But I don't know, man. Just give me a track and I'll race at.
I hear it. I hear it. No matter what track it is, just strap me in the funny car and let's go. So,
Exactly.
Bobby, the team, talked about them a little bit earlier. Give me the breakdown on who owns this car and who fields this car and who all is involved, because it's some legendary people within the drag racing world, from what I understand. Clue us in.
Yeah, obviously Bucky Austin owns the car. He's partners with Mike and Jeanette O'Brien. We got a host of people that are crewing on the cars and stuff, but everybody does a good job. But obviously everybody knows Bucky. He's just been a icon of the sport, I think, and the guy does not like losing. I can tell you that much. So they're just, I don't know how to explain it. The joy I get after every round win. They're just the passion that every single crew member and every single owner has for this deal is just second to none, man. I'm just really excited for the future. You know what I'm saying?
Well, shopping must be done. The kids are back in.
Yeah.
Yep. Good deal. Good deal. Well, look, we won't hold you much longer. I want to also give you time to clue everyone in that you're not just a driver. Sometimes people see the driver, it's all they see them do, but I've looked at photos and you can do more than just drive one of these funny cars. And you even mentioned crewing. So what's the profession and what else has been in your background to the point where now you're willing one of these funny cars?
Yeah, well, I have a shop, actually. Personally, I build race cars on hot rods. I do fabrication, motors, trans, and rear ends. We do that on the property that we're at, and I do the right cylinder head, and then I help out wherever I can. As far as anything else, I'm constantly welding stuff up at the races and stuff. But yeah, I just love race cars. I love working on them. I love driving them, obviously. But I can pretty much do anything on a race car, just like anybody on our crew can. I mean, everybody's just kind of we're obviously during an event and stuff, there's stuff happens, stuff every person on our crew could fill in wherever they need to. So it's a big joy for me to be on this team.
The earliest drag racing memory you've got, what got you hooked? Why become a funny car driver?
You know what? Like I said before, this is my first funny car I've ever driven. I've never driven a funny car. And my dad's had a rear engine dragster basically all of my life. I remember there's pictures of when I was 6 months old at Orange County Raceway and Riverside Raceways. So I don't know how, but I remember hearing the sound when I was very, very young, and it has stuck in my head. And for years, my dad's dragster sat in the garage because we couldn't afford it and stuff. But every day after school, after I finished homework and stuff, I used to polish the wheels. I used to dust it off. I used to clean it up just in case that one day came, we could take it out. So it's been a lifelong deal for me. I really, really enjoy it. And I love funny cars now. I've never driven one before this, but I've thought I've driven some hard stuff to drive, but until driving a funny car, it's life hasn't been fulfilled.
Well, last two questions for you about driving in other places within the sport. Big Show. I'm sure everybody wants me to ask, what about you in a Big Show funny car? What's it going to take? And I'm sure you want to take up the opportunity. And usually I know the common denominator, but when might it happen?
I mean, I don't know. I would love to drive one, obviously, as a driver. I mean, I think we would do some good if I had the financial backing and stuff. But I'm committed to Bucky, and unfortunately, it's a money game now. It's not really on talent; it's about money, and people are probably want to shoot me for that. But it is what it is. I mean, it's if you don't have a few $1,000,000 in your pocket, it's really not even a thought. If the opportunity came, I'm pretty sure I would take it because obviously it's everybody wants to go 330 miles an hour. But like I said before, unfortunately, it's a money game. I don't have a filter, and I'm not a poster child, so it's kind of a hard subject to go against. But I mean, I would love to go 330 miles an hour. Anybody would, but I just don't know. I mean, the sky's the limit. I don't know.
Well, man, don't cut yourself too short there. You have handled this interview very well, so you're certainly more marketable than I think you are. You've done a good job even tonight, and I agree with you. Look, there are certainly some talented individuals driving at the big show level at the Camping World Series, but there are plenty in lower ranks, if you will, like I think of Sean Bellemere. I mean, what he could do in a Nitro funny car, it would be wild, the capable driver he is. And many of you in the nostalgia world, what you all have to do with Nitro and still hitting some buttons and shifting and things like that, it is phenomenal what you're doing in the cockpit. So hopefully many of you all get that shot in the future and people can see you all on the big stage. Last question. So I'm the pit reporter for Funny Car Chaos, and I firmly believe that as time goes on, the Classic happens in March, Texas Motorplex. That's becoming a place where any and every funny car driver needs to show up. And we certainly want to see a 5-time champion like yourself show up and compete against the Funny Car Chaos regulars and all of those others that come in to compete at the Classic. So when might we see Bobby Cottrell at a Funny Car Chaos event?
I think next year we'll probably show up to a couple of them just to kind of scope it out. I think we got something in the shop that's willing to run, but I want to show up to a couple races just to check it out and stuff. But we got something brewing, so we'll see.
I like that. Something brewing. Well, Bobby, congratulations on the year and on the wins, and I hope your 2023 is even more spectacular. Thank you for your time on the show here tonight, Between the Slicks. As we let you go, just tell people where they can follow you and your drag racing journey.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Facebook. I'm all over Facebook and stuff, and that's pretty much it. We could be at any track, any local track in California. We're usually out there tuning cars and helping customers out. But I appreciate you guys having me on. It was obviously a blast, and come out to the races. The more people, the better.
Awesome. Thank you, Bobby.
All right, you take it easy.
All right, folks. Bobby Cottrell here on the show Between the Slicks. Good to talk with him. Definitely a big-time winner, big-time championship winner with legendary people within the sport of drag racing. That green funny car has got its own mystique to it, and a beautiful funny car that it is as well. Gary Wheeler Jr. saying, people's champ, keeping it real. He definitely does have that mystique. I agree. And what a talented driver. And there's so many talented drivers in the Heritage Series at that level. And I don't even like saying level, and that's why I did quote, lower level. I know it gets characterized like that, but there are some extremely talented drivers and extremely talented crew members and crew chiefs and people who, quote unquote, did it back in the day and were extremely successful in the day. And they're successful in this day, even though it might be in a parallel side of competition within NHRA drag racing. So good to have Bobby on. Hope to have in the future many more from the Heritage Series and the West Coast and that funny car scene. What a great funny car scene they've got out there on the West Coast and front engine dragster scene. And love what is happening with the Heritage Series and the Legends of Nitro Funny Car series starting up that's probably going to be running around with the national events and giving more exposure. I think all of that is good. But as I said to Bobby and to all the other ones in the Heritage Series, come out to the Classic in March. I know it might be a quick turnaround with March meet, but come on out if you can, or any other Funny Car Chaos race. We'd love to have you, and you would not, I know you would not be disappointed by the atmosphere and the people that you are going to encounter. You're going to encounter serious competition, people who love drag racing, and you're going to get that family atmosphere just like Bobby was talking about. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this 115th episode of Between the Slicks. Next week, we've already got it lined up. It's been confirmed, and hopefully it holds. Murph McKinney, McKinney Corp. Going to have him on the show right off the bat. That is going to be an interesting conversation, a fascinating conversation, and a conversation that I feel like is exactly why I created Between the Slicks. Because there are many more conversations to be had in drag racing than just with the driver, than just with the crew chief. We here on Between the Slicks on the Monday Morning Racer platform, we've talked to sponsors, we've talked to crew members, we've talked to people behind the scenes, whether it's media or track owners. And Murph McKinney, what a name in the world of drag racing around the world, truly. And that is going to be a fascinating conversation as they have grown the company and expanded it to find out his roots, where he thinks drag racing is going, the world of chassis building, and more. So be sure to tune back in right here Thursday night. Be sure you're subscribed to the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel. You'll get that notification. Hit the like button for me as we get near closing out the show as well. Hit the share button. But Murph McKinney, McKinney Corp. Next week. Looking forward to that. And in the future, we'll have Madison Payne and even this guy, Leslie Horn, the Sega AGAS 2022 champion. We'll have him on the show, as well as the other champions of the Southeast Gassers Association and the race winners of the last race for the 2022 Southeast Gassers Association Tour. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. Until next time, well, God bless. And keep the pedal to the metal.
Hero Soap Company is a veteran-owned establishment that produces all-natural, essential oils infused soap that is sold with a portion of the proceeds supporting other veteran groups. Hero Soap Company. Heroes supporting heroes. Be a hero yourself and buy a bar and let freedom clean.